Shohei Ohtani done pitching for the year due to an elbow tear. The Maple Leafs sign Auston Matthews to a 4-year extension. And forget about hockey, because we're breaking down the Big Ten predictions from top to bottom as we get ready for the college football season to kick off. I'm Jake Crain, and welcome to Crain and Company. Now, in what should be the last year of divisions in the Big Ten, the talk is going to center mostly around Michigan and Ohio State, with a little bit of Penn State talk sprinkled in there. But the main question that will be asked is which of those two teams I just mentioned at the beginning can possibly win a national championship. Now, Ohio State is very talented, and what Ryan Day has done there in his tenure has been very impressive. They've had a run of great quarterbacks like C.J. Stroud, Justin Fields, Dwayne Haskins, J.T. Barrett, and so on. I can go back and list them all. And they've won double-digit games every year since 2011, obviously minus the COVID year where they only played 8. But at some point, a speed bump comes along. And that year is this year. Now, this isn't some wild take. I harbor no ill will toward Ohio State. They've never done anything wrong to me. It's actually very calculated when you look at it. The Buckeyes have to replace their 2 tackles and their center, along with a quarterback in a battle right now that hasn't seen either player show that breakaway ability yet. Mix that with the schedule that features road games at Notre Dame, Wisconsin, and Michigan, and that's why, in my opinion, the Buckeyes are going to go 9-3 this year. Now, the FPI and the computers and ChatGPT can say whatever the hell they want, but a computer doesn't take a snap or make a tackle. This Buckeye team has some very important questions. There's a lot of unknowns, similar to the ones that Alabama faces right now. And while the receiving core is deadly, nobody can dispute that, and the defense will be pretty damn good, I don't believe this Ohio State team is going to run through people outside of Ann Arbor like we've seen in the recent past. Now, some will say this take is far-fetched or clickbait. I could really care less. If I wanted to make everybody happy, I'd sell ice cream for a living. And just like with my Texas prediction, I'll be back right here to admit if I was wrong. And if they do have another huge year, then great for them. But at this point, I'm writing them down for 9-3. That's right, David.
9-3.
That's right. I'm writing them down for 9-3. And again,
Wow.
I get accused it's funny. I'll say all these great things last year, really big on Ohio State, had Bama. Obviously, going undefeated, whatever, you say something good about somebody, you hate somebody else. You say something bad about somebody, you hate them. Again, it kind of comes to the territory, but here's what I got. You ready for this? We got David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, sitting to my left, who I know is going to be super jacked about what I have the East, the way I have it shaken out there in the Big Ten. Blaine Crain, my hobbled brother right now.
Handy capable.
Handy capable,
Boys.
with a mustache.
Come on.
Proud of you.
Thank
All right,
you.
I'm going to start in the West. How about that? Because
Going
I got
out
another
west, huh?
surprise over there.
Mr. West.
Mr. West. And you know what? Give me Wisconsin, 11-1.
Oh, buddy.
Okay, I've been gassing up Tanner Mordecai. I've been talking about Wisconsin. Love what they bring back on defense. Love them bringing Phil Longo in at OC. You got Braylon Allen. You got the Siberian Cave Trolls up front. Mm-hmm. And here's what I got Wisconsin going. I got them losing their only game of the regular season.
Let me guess.
Where?
Golly, now, because you already said Buckeyes, you lose 3.
Dig deep.
At Illinois.
Nailed it.
Really?
Losing at Illinois with against Brett Bielema, kind of a slip-up game halfway through the year. Kind of went back and forth with that one in the Ohio State game. And then Minnesota at the end can be a little bit tricky.
Yeah, it can.
Especially with what PJ's got going over there. I just don't believe in Minnesota at the quarterback position. So in the Big Ten West, I got Wisconsin 11-1, 8-1 in the conference. I got Iowa bouncing back.
Wow.
9-3, 6-3.
I like that.
Cade McNamara, I think obviously he's better than Petrus is. I don't think they're going to be nearly as bad as they were on offense last year. And then defense and special teams, we know how talented Iowa is. I got Purdue at 8-4, 5-4 under Ryan Walters, his first year coming over from Illinois. Out dueling his former boss, Brett Bielema there at Illinois. I got the line I going 7-5, 5-4. Minnesota 6-6, 4-5 in the conference. Nebraska 8-4, better record than Illinois and Minnesota overall, but I got them going 4-5 in the conference. You look at the way the tiebreakers shake out. That'll put them second to last. Not a horrible year at all for Matt Rule in year one. I think a lot of Nebraska fans will take 8-4. Then Northwestern. I mean, just, again, turn the lights off. Everybody put a mask on. This year's going to suck. Northwestern's going to go 2-10, 0-9 in the conference. Then we move to the East. Michigan, undefeated, 12-0, 9-0.
Come on, baby.
Ohio State, 9-3, 7-2. All right, I got them losing at Notre Dame.
Let me guess the other two.
You can probably guess them.
At Notre Dame.
Michigan.
Yeah, I'm losing to Michigan. And then
Penn State?
it had to be on the road at Wisconsin.
At Wisconsin.
Wow.
And I'm losing on the road. Kent Randall, jump around. Penn State, 10-2, 7-2. But I have Ohio State beating them, winning that tiebreaker, putting Ohio State second in the East. Then Mike Loxley in Maryland, 7-5, 4-5. Bottom of the East. All right, here we go. Indiana is 4-8, 2-7, good enough to keep Tom Allen around. I don't know. He needs some of that Tim Allen home improvement.
Another bad year.
Then Michigan State, 3-9, 1-8. Mel Tucker, I don't believe. I think a lot of it was that roster they had with Kenneth Walker. I think it was fool's gold. AD panicked, gave him all the gold in the vault, and then Rutgers and Greg Schiano got to beat Northwestern game one. Actually, guys, side note, I've got Rutgers starting out 2-0.
Me too. Northwestern and Temple.
And Temple. So, and then it just kind of falls off a cliff with their only win coming against an FCS opponent. So that is how we're going to do it.
Couple questions here.
Bring back jobs to the Tar Heel State.
One, Ohio State 9-3. Is Ryan Day fired?
No.
Michigan State 3-9. Is that boy out of there?
No, I
paid him too
much money. Contract locks him in.
Paid him too much, man.
Look,
I'm trying to decide right now if I like what you're putting down or if I want that chip on our shoulder.
I feel like you're going to have Michigan 12-0, so I think you should ask yourself that question.
Okay, well, why don't we just go ahead and bring it up then?
Yeah,
but 9-3 with the Buckeyes, I mean, we're talking about a team that's won double-digit games every single season since 2011.
Look, eventually the music stops for a year. We saw it, and I know Clemson won 11 games. They're in the ACC. You look at the schedule, man. Again, at Indiana, that's a win. Yale at home, this isn't a law debate. That's a win. Western Kentucky at home, weird game, but that's a win. At Notre Dame, Sam Hartman. Sam, I got heart, man. I think I don't trust Ohio State's quarterback situation right now. I look at Ryan Day and I read what he says. You're out here taking a straw poll as who's going to be the quarterback. That doesn't just infuse me with a ton of confidence. Like I said, this isn't Ben Affleck, Bruce Willis on some asteroid seeing who's going to blow the nuke up and save the planet. All right, this is Ryan Day, offensive guru, right? If anybody knows the quarterback position, it's Ryan Day. And you're over here, and again, he said nobody's blowing it out of the water. Nobody's separated themselves. We're going in basically to week one. Devin Brown's young, which means there's going to be some good and there's going to be some bad. McCord hasn't had a ton of reps. Here's what I worry about, David. Here's the way I see this happening, okay? If let's say Ohio State goes and loses to Notre Dame, all right, they don't look great. All right, then all of a sudden they lose to Wisconsin or you start looking at what happened with some of the other skill guys, as Marvin Harrison Jr. Start to kind of shut it down a little bit. I'm just telling you, man, it just smells funny to me at Ohio State. This isn't a let me be the only one to say Ohio State's going 9-3 just in case they do. That's not one of those. I look at this schedule. I'm telling you, man, Wisconsin's going to be a problem. Wisconsin's going to be a legitimate problem. I think they can run with them up front.
Well, it's funny you say that because the last time the Buckeyes didn't win double-digit games in a season, Luke Fickell was the head coach, the interim coach in between Urban Meyer and Jim Tressel. I've seen this movie so many times, man. And every time they lose a quarterback who was a Heisman Trophy candidate, somehow they replace him with someone who's even better. I do have questions on the offensive line for the Buckeyes. That's one area.
Offensive line and quarterback, that's dangerous.
But they'll have two of the best receivers. Even if Marvin Harrison Jr. shuts it down, they have another one of the best receivers in Mbuka. And then the running back tandem is going to be one of the best in the conference, probably one of the best in the country, to be honest. But I am going to ride with Michigan as well. Like, it's time. The talking time is done. You know, back-to-back wins over Ohio, back-to-back college football playoff appearances, and the knock has been, well, Jim Harbaugh can't win when it's late in the season. 1-6 in bowl games, 1-7, something like that. It's time. I picked them last year, I think 11-1 to win the conference, losing to Michigan State. This year, I'm going to go 12-0. J.J. McCarthy, it's time to shine. He's going to be a junior this year. He has the talent to be a college football, to be a national champion. Back-to-back Joe Moore Award winners on the offensive line. You're returning a lot of those guys and then some. I think the defense, the secondary played better than I've ever seen the Michigan defense play since my freshman year there when we had Leon Hall and some of those juggernauts running around. And they will have the best running back tandem in the country with Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. So it's time to run the conference and not just get to the college football playoff, but to win the national championship. But we'll deal with that a little bit more tomorrow. I still have the Buckeyes going 11-1, though. I want them unbeaten. I want them unblemished when they come to Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
That's how I want it. That's how I see it. I want them unbeaten, undefeated matchup in the big house come late November, Thanksgiving week. Penn State 10-2. Make no mistake, boys. Penn State can win this conference. And if Michigan loses a game, I think the most likely one is on the road in Happy Valley. And maybe that's what Blaine will have. I don't know. I haven't seen his graphic yet. But Penn State can certainly win this conference. Let's see how Drew Aller plays. I see a similar situation last year, though. 10 wins, losing to the top two teams in the division, and then going to a bowl game and having another 11-win season, which would be incredible. 7-5 for Maryland. I still have Michigan State going bowling, guys. 6-6.
Yeah.
When you look at the way the conference breaks down, I do think they lose to Washington at home. But other than that, I still see the Spartans figuring out a way to go 6-6 and make a bowl game. 3-9 for Rutgers, 3-9 for Indiana. And then on the west side, man, you and I are more aligned on this conference than any of the previous three that we've done.
Man.
When you look at the schedule for Wisconsin, if Luke Fickell can come in there and there's just not complete chaos in terms of the identity and bringing Phil Longo and Tanner Mordecai in, then I think they could go 11-1. I picked Georgia Southern to beat Nebraska last season. I'm not going to do the same this year, even if the Eagles do go to Camp Randall. 11-1, and then the rest of the conference. You see 9-3 for Iowa. I think you had the same thing.
Yep.
Do you have 6-3 within the conference?
Yep.
That's what I have.
I've got him.
Well.
I've got Iowa scanning. I've got Iowa losing at Penn State,
Me too.
at Wisconsin,
Same.
and at Nebraska.
Me too. That's exactly what I have.
That's the exact same thing.
And then Illinois, I have 7-5, 4-5 in the conference, with those losses being Penn State, Maryland, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa.
I've got almost the exact same for Illinois. I've got them losing against Penn State. I got them losing at Kansas just before they get into conference play. Then Penn State at home, at Purdue, at Minnesota, and at Iowa.
Yeah, I went back and forth on the Purdue pick, but I have Minnesota, Purdue, and Nebraska, all three going bowling at 6-6. And then Northwestern, it's just a bad situation. I hate it for everyone involved up there. You know, I don't know exactly what happened, but I think that program's going to reel for a little bit.
I tell you what's really interesting. When you look at the quarterbacks in the Big Ten West, kind of the way they've upgraded. You look at Cade McNamara going to Iowa. You look at a familiar name, Luke Altmaier.
Hudson Card.
Card at Purdue
Hudson's
with
not,
Ryan
yeah.
Walter. Jeff Sims at Nebraska had a big year. Yeah, it's the upgrade of the Big Ten West at the quarterback position I find fascinating. When the three and Blaine, this is a question I'll pose to you after you get done with your graphic is, you know, when I look at those three between Illinois, Minnesota, and Purdue, to me, those were kind of the three hardest because they're in the same division. There are some similar identities. Illinois lost a ton off that defense last year, including Ryan Walters, the defensive coordinator. People forget they were number one in a lot of categories last year on defense. You had Witherspoon, you had Sidney Brown. I mean, you had guys running around that secondary that were absolutely lock you, throw away the key, welcome to Azkaban. But no, it's that was interesting in Nebraska, man. I'm interested to see them with Matt.
I mean, if you're Nebraska, you take eight wins first year. 100%.
Yeah, hands down.
100%. All right, pull up my graphic. Here it is, boys. Here it is. Let's go to the East first.
Oh,
Michigan, 11-1. Ohio State, 11-1. Hold on. Who's this? It's Penn State. 11-1.
you want chaos.
11-1. Mr. Walk Me Down the Walkway. Take my hand. Michigan, you brought it up earlier, Dave. I think it's going to lose that game at Penn State.
Man, I almost put the same thing.
I think they're going to lose that game at Penn State. I think they're going to lose by a field goal. Last-second field goal. Give me the Nittany Lions.
It's got to be a whiteout, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is it going to be a whiteout?
Yeah, it's going to be basically snowing there.
Ohio State. You know who they're going to lose to? They're going to lose to Michigan. All right. They're going to lose to Michigan.
So you got them beating Notre Dame. You got them beating Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You got them beating Penn State.
Yeah. Ohio State will be favored in every game except one. Except one, and that'll be the Michigan game. All right. Then Penn State, they're losing to the Buckeyes.
Yeah.
Right? So 11-1, all 8-1 in the conference. Maryland 7-5. Loxley and the boys, Mini 2 is going to have a good year. I got Michigan State bowling as well.
Okay.
6-6. You could say that's a bounce back year for the Sparties. We'll see Rutgers 4-8.
So who do you got them beating? Y'all both have them 6-6.
All right.
Who do you got Michigan State beating?
I have them
for
beating
6
Central.
wins? Yep, I got that.
Richmond.
Got that.
I have them beating Maryland at home. I have them going on the road and beating Rutgers.
I got that.
I have them beating Nebraska at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have them beating Indiana on the road.
Yep.
Man.
So I got. Literally, it's exactly what I have.
You do too? So you have losses to Washington, Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota
Loss.
on the road.
Ohio State loss and Penn State loss.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've only got them beating Rutgers, Richmond, and Central Michigan.
And I can see that as well. I can see that from Ross. But
I'm telling you, who on Michigan State last year they had one of the worst defenses of getting off the field on third down. I don't think they lost in general in the transfer portal. Keon Coleman's gone. Peyton Thorne's gone. You look at that Michigan State team. Who are they going to play outside of? And you can make the argument for Indiana outside of Rutgers, Richmond, and Central Michigan. I know Maryland's defense is a big question mark. I get that, especially the Riddler. But outside of that, I don't see them having a better team than Penn State, Ohio State, Nebraska, Minnesota, Michigan, Iowa, Maryland, Washington, and I can make the argument for Indiana.
Yeah, and
it's on the road.
Right. You could be right. Now, Vegas has Michigan State
5.5.
5.5.
Yeah.
So 6-6 would be just barely hitting that over. The Wisconsin's the biggest outlier to me. Vegas has Wisconsin at 8.5. You and I have them blowing that out of the water.
I would parlay them in Boston College over 5.5 wins.
I also have the
take
Purdue
all the
over.
gold I've ever acquired and put it on that William Devane.
Purdue's at 5.5, so I have that over as well. Nebraska would be a push. Maryland would be a push for me, and then Penn State's 9.5. Man, I would take that over.
Yeah. Let's go to the West. Wisconsin 10-2. Got them losing to Ohio State and at Minnesota.
Okay.
All right. So then Iowa 9-3. Cade
We all got Iowa now.
And the boys bouncing back. Minnesota 7-5. Nebraska 7-5. Illinois 6-6. Purdue 4-8. Don't believe in it this year. I think Hudson is going to have a good year. I think he'll have enough talent around him. And Northwestern, it's a future situation. Someone turn off the lights. We're 2-10 and 0-9.
Yeah, tough situation at Northwestern. All right. So let us know. Who do you think out of the three got the closest? Let us know your predictions as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are 2,000 subs away from 100,000.
Wait, so hold on. So you punched your second college football playoff ticket.
Yes.
You have Michigan going to the conference
They've got
championship.
the golden. I've got Michigan beating Wisconsin in the conference championship game, therefore making Wisconsin 11-2, knocking Wisconsin out of playoff contention, but they do go to a New Year's Six.
Okay.
Michigan and Texas are in
Michigan and Texas
the
for you.
playoff.
Same with me. I'm punching the second ticket, so it's Michigan and Washington for me so far in the college football playoff. Have you got any?
I think it's Texas and USC, I believe, are my two that are in right now. So I think Michigan would be in as well.
Okay.
So you have three. Wow.
Right, yeah. I would have three.
Like one
Okay.
SEC school.
Well, we'll do
which I know you're fourth then.
We'll do our college football playoff tomorrow after SEC,
Yes,
right?
we got to do SEC, college football playoff, Notre Dame,
Mm-hmm.
and Heisman winner. Now, my player of the year in the conference is Blake Corum at Michigan.
Same.
My coach of the year, Luke Fickell. You go 11-1 in Wisconsin
Mm-hmm.
first year. Even though Harbaugh goes 12-0, you feel like you kind of de facto give him that. I think it goes to Luke Fickell at going 11-1 and leading his team to the conference championship game. But if you want to wake up and lead your team and yourself to the conference championship game, all right, you need to make sure you drink some of our friends over at Black Rifles Coffee. It's fantastic stuff. They've got ready-to-drink cans. If you like running an up-tempo offense, maybe you don't have time to brew it. Maybe this isn't that 1886 show or whatever, the spinoff of Yellowstone where you got to sit there by the campfire and brew your own stuff. All right, ready-to-drink coffee is perfect for people who need their coffee quickly. It contains plenty of caffeine, 200 milligrams of it. You got vanilla bomb, salted caramel, mocha, vanilla caramel, all the most delicious flavors. And it's a veteran-founded coffee company that's operated by principled men and women who honor those who protect, defend, and support our country. Plus, David has a great little brew in his hand. What do you got, David?
Power llama. Look at that. That's an animal with machine guns on both sides.
Yeah, you want to wake up and choose violence in the best way? How about
that
llama?
for transportation?
That's exactly. Imagine if Xerxes had those. It would have taken him a lot less time to get through those hot gates. What do you got over there, bud?
I got a gunship. All right?
It's always grabbing that gunship, man.
Look above. It's a dragon and a gunship.
Yeah, well, I'm
You're in
not seeing
trouble.
any flaming dragon brew, so I keep hearing
It's in the works. Don't worry about it.
You have to find the right bean.
Quit asking so many questions.
We're not just going for any old
It's in the works. You can't rush something beautiful.
Beans, it's like Jack in the stalk. You got to find the right beans.
It takes time.
Goodness gracious. So save money and drink America's coffee. Go to blackriflecoffee.com. Use our promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, at checkout for 10% off your one-time purchase or your first coffee club order. That's blackriflecoffee.com. Promo code BOOSTER for 10% off. You can also find it in grocery and convenience stores, but we all know you want to go online and use that promo code to save that 10%. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee. Shazam!
Love
Booster
it.
Club.
Booster Club. Let's go to Chris Hogan with a $5 donation. Appreciate it, Chris. Repping the West Coast to support the boys in the Booster Club.
Y'all.
Huge fan of the show and what y'all do for real sports talk. Love the Longhorns hype, by the way.
Look, it's real. Look,
Hey.
the love is real.
You're back, boys.
I'm not out here. I'm not capping America. I'm not here throwing shield lies. Telling you what I really think. And people, look, I'll put this on social media today. All the Ohio State fans will come out of the woodwork. That's fine. I could care less. But I really believe that's what's going to happen.
Let's go to Tank Ryder with the $10 donation. Appreciate it, brother.
Like
Blaine, sorry for the injured wing. Remember your strapping young dragon of flames. You'll soar again soon. Guts up for the Red Raiders. Let's go, baby. Hey, nothing can hold me down, kiddo. Let's go to Brian Hall with a $5 donation. He says, Jake, what do you like better, LSU money line or over 58.5 or parlay both? I believe he's talking about the Florida State game.
Mason Smith being out because of an improper benefit.
What's an improper benefit?
Yeah,
apparently, him and Keishawn Butte were signing autographs or something
in 2021.
2021.
So essentially, they were doing that in 2021. Keishawn Butte served his penalty last year. Mason Smith was injured though, so couldn't. And Matt Moscona said that LSU has known about this since the early part of the summer. So
58.5.
the NCAA added again.
So if
Don't
sign autographs, don't eat hamburgers.
This just feels like a 30-27 game to me.
You talking about Florida State LSU?
Yeah, it just feels like a 30-27 game. To be honest with you, I wouldn't touch it. But if you had to bet it, I wonder what the line has.
You're not going to bet this game?
I'm going to have to. We're going to do certain fun with it. I'm going to have to. But if I didn't have to, then I wouldn't. What's the line on it right now? Has there been any movement?
Find it.
Has there been any?
Let me guess. LSU minus.
LSU was minus.
LSU minus 2.5.
Yeah,
so
still?
LSU has a 66%. I don't know if those.
What's the over/under?
The over/under
Is it
is
still 58?
58.
58 exactly?
Yeah, flat.
Wow.
God, could it be 34-27? Who likes cheering for the under? But I'm trying to make the best bet. Mason Smith being out. Here's what I would do. I would buy it up to 3.5, and I would parlay that with the over. I'd take Florida State plus 3.5 with the over at 58. So there's no hook on it right now.
No hook on it right now.
Not Neverland.
I
right
wouldn't
now.
parlay this. I would just take probably Florida State.
Well, that's why I didn't ask you. So
Florida State plus 3.5?
Yeah.
I like that bet,
Yeah.
actually.
if he asked me about the over/under, God, man,
Those two quarterbacks?
that Mason Smith, it scares me, man. Not that LSU doesn't have somewhat, a decent amount of depth up front, but just on the interior defensive line, Mason Smith, you have to run away from him. It's like a bad parent. You got to run away at some point.
Bet you could get it down to 56.5 for a decent price.
Yeah.
That'd be your 30-27, right?
Yeah. It feels like a 30-27, 31-27 type game. Could we get 31-28?
There you go, too.
I just think each team kicks a field goal.
31-28 could happen, too.
Because you're going to be able to move the ball in between the 20s.
God, I can't wait for that game.
Me either.
Let's go to Noah Huffman with the $2 donation. Appreciate it, Noah. Says Devin Brown has pulled away and has taken the job.
Really?
Well, I haven't seen Ryan Day say that. All right, you got a young kid at quarterback.
Wow.
All right, well, if that happens, I feel a whole hell of a lot better about 9-3.
All right, let's go to Cole Frank with the $2 donation. Appreciate it, Cole. LeBron is mid, MJ's a GOAT, and Wisconsin's going to win it all. A lot of
Cole,
Wisconsin
listen,
believers
I
up here,
love your
man.
enthusiasm. Rule 17, no excuses, play like a champion. I love the enthusiasm. I feel like 11-1, losing in the conference championship game, 11-2, great year under Luke Fickell, year one. Hey, Wisconsin's back. Last year, divisions, right?
Yeah.
Unless something crazy happens. I know they're adding all these teams, but it should be interesting for sure.
All right, let's go to Riot Highs with a $5 donation. Thank you, Riot. Michigan dominating the polls like Hillary in 2016. We know how that went. Better win it again before Oregon comes and wins it all this time.
Well, you know why I was going to be super jacked and tan about Oregon. Look, I mean, Michigan, you got 7 guys possibly on this offensive line that can get drafted. I think you have what's like 65% of the defense returns, something nuts like that. Maybe even more than that. I was looking at the analytics of it yesterday. I look at this Michigan team. I look at this Michigan schedule. I mean, let's go through it real quick. Let's do it here and do the math and science. East Carolina at home. No offense to our East Carolina guy.
Who's that, our buddy Joe?
I think that's our buddy Joe. It's an L. Okay.
Let's
For
say the East
ECU.
Carolina coverage, though.
Just to be friends.
Yeah.
Say they cover
Y'all
running
be friends.
clocks, run the ball, doesn't stop after first downs unless it's under 2 minutes. UNLV week 2 murder.
Yeah.
Murder. Where's Inspector Perot? Let's find out who did it. Oh, wait, I know. It's Michigan. Bowling Green.
Scotty
Your boy
Left.
Leftley?
Scotty Lefty going back.
Lefty's
to Ann
going
Arbor.
back to with that huge dip in.
You don't
just
think he has a
getting it
couple?
shoved in?
You don't think he has a couple play designs for the boys?
Yeah, it won't matter.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think Moses himself could come down and have a couple play
Won't
designs.
matter.
Then you have Rutgers. Yeah, that should be fun. Good luck with that. At Nebraska, I think, look, they'll put up a good fight for about a quarter and a half. Give me Michigan. At Minnesota,
Little
weird
brown jug.
game.
Little brown
Jug, little bad team. Give me Michigan. Indiana at home. Sorry, Tom Allen. It's not going to go good, buddy. At Michigan
There's this
State,
one right
I know
here.
it's a rivalry game.
Always a
I know
fight.
It's a rivalry game, but Michigan State, just personnel-wise, don't believe. Purdue at home, I like Michigan in that one. At Penn State, first game that I look at and go, all right,
That late in the season too.
that Penn State defense is that. If Drew Aller can do it, Penn State, we said hinge player, right? Where if that player plays well, the team around him is good enough to do it. Penn State's good enough to do it. At Maryland just can't stop anybody. They can't stop
They
anybody
played
at
Michigan
all.
tight last year, though.
They did, but defensively, I mean, I love Coach Loxley. They did lose Dan Enos to Arkansas with Sam Pittman. And then Ohio State at home. I mean, it's at worst 11-1. At worst 11-1.
All right, let's go to Ethan Williams with a $5 donation. Appreciate it, E. Says, after watching Swamp Kings, do you think it's possible for coaches to still push players like that today without them leaving in the portal?
I think it's getting harder and harder to coach guys hard. Let's see how many times I could use that word in the same sentence. It's a societal thing. Now, look, there's a breaking point for everybody, right? There's lines that you don't want to cross. Some people say you cross lines. Some people say you didn't cross the line. Great players, I know this. They want to get coached hard. The great ones want to be coached, to a point, because that means you care. If I just let you get away with what you get away with because you're a good player, I'm really only care about what you can do for me. I don't care about you in the long run. And I know that guys that are that rare combination of great ability, great work ethic, and have enough understanding of what life's about to know that if I'm coaching you hard, it's because I care about you. I used to tell guys all the time, you should start to worry when I don't coach you hard,
Yep.
or I'm not talking to you,
Gave up on it.
or maybe I'm not yelling at you about starting behind the line or finishing through the line or getting your ass to meetings on time or handling your business outside the facility. That's when you should worry.
I love that question. I asked that same question to Arkansas coach Sam Pittman and Texas Tech coach Joey McGuire. So go on our YouTube and check out their answers to that because I thought it was pretty special.
All right, let's go to Jake Huzinga with a $14 donation. Not a message
What's up,
under
buddy?
there, Jake, but I appreciate the donation, brother.
Thank you, Jake.
Let's go to Matt Riley with the $20 donation. Appreciate it, Matt. Shout out to my wife, Stacy, for bringing our first child into the world last week.
Yes.
Baby boy's a champ, and mom's doing great. Also, thanks to the new baby, I'm actually awake for the live show over here on the West Coast.
How about
Let's
that?
go. Way to go,
Bro.
Stacy.
Hey, dare I say, Stacy, the new mom, has got it going.
She's got it going on.
Does.
dude.
Yep. Congrats,
Wow.
Matt. Hey,
Mothers
happy
are the
for you
MVPs,
guys.
man.
Continued success and health, man.
Let's go to CCM28 with the $2 donation. Appreciate it, brother. He
Thank
says
you.
K-State repeats, and Hawaii is going to cover against Vandy.
Here's the thing too, David and Blaine. We have and producer Justine, We have games on Saturday as well. Let me just internalize that again. Just fills me with just blossoming personal joy. Julie's a trader. So we have to do our SEC picks tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame, college football playoff teams, national champion, Heisman winner, and then keys to the game.
Mm-hmm.
We get to do a keys to the game, keys to victory.
Yeah. A lot going on tomorrow.
By the way, want to also give a shout out. Got Jack McGuire coming on next week.
Okay.
From Barstool. Excited about that. We got Timmy B coming next week. He disagrees with my Texas take. All right. Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
So we have a huge week next week too, but I'm so excited to do keys to victory tomorrow.
I can't wait.
Just shut up and drive.
I can't wait. You see Mike RFF in there?
Is it a lifestyle?
Saying he's a Northwestern fan. Did you see the song request?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, somebody kill me, please. You want to go ahead and hit it?
Yeah. It's tough for Northwestern.
Yeah, it's a tough situation.
You see they fired their baseball coach too because they had a toxic culture? I'd be like, I bet it wasn't as bad as theirs.
Oh, my goodness.
I was going to Steve Action Figure Frenzy. What's up, Stevie, with the $5 donation?
Stevie.
Because I'm confused with Jake's picks.
Uh-oh.
How can Nebraska win only 4 conference games and win 8 overall when they only play 3 non-conference games?
Okay, let me make sure that this is
what did you do?
This is what I have written down. I've got them losing at Minnesota week 1.
Me too.
I've got them beating Colorado, Northern Illinois, and Louisiana Tech. So that's 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that makes them, before I lose my mind, that makes them
Calculating.
3-1. That's right. I got them losing at Michigan and at Illinois.
Yep,
so that makes them 3-3. I got them beating Northwestern at home, 4-3. Losing at Purdue, 4-4. Winning at Michigan State and Maryland, 6-4. Okay, they're 7-5. I've got them losing at Wisconsin, that's 6-5. Beating Iowa at home last game of the year, that's 7-5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're right, Steve. I counted it wrong. Justine, can we make that correction? I sent that to you wrong. They're 7-5. Steve, good catch. Thank you. They're 7-5, and they are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and yep, and they're 5-4 in the conference. That's right.
So I have 6-6. I have that loss.
4-5 in the conference.
That loss
right
on the road at Michigan State, and then 3-6 in the conference for me.
All right, so that's Nebraska at 7-5. So that changes them. That puts them same spot. They're in the same spot though in the West, right? In between Northwestern and Minnesota. So that just changes the overall. 7-5. Steve, good catch.
Oh boy, Stevie. All right, let's go to X.
X.
At Cam Ban Monahan. Hashtag Ask Crain and Company. Who do you think will be Nebraska's breakout player this year, and what is their ceiling?
I mean, look, I think it's got to be at quarterback, right? With Jeff Sims coming over, I like him in kind of the Matt Rule system, and I know Matt Rule, he's more of a CEO type, and you look at his come up was on defense, but I think Jeff Sims is a guy that we've seen make explosive plays. There's been the question about turnovers, but his dual threat ability in this style, I know Nebraska's still adding weapons around him. You know, obviously they lost Palmer, a couple other guys. They've had to kind of make some moves on the offensive line, but I think it's got to be Jeff Sims, right?
Yeah, those 3 non-conference games are huge for them, especially on the road at Colorado.
You start out good early.
Coach Deion Sanders, you got to go win that one.
Because remember last year they went over to Ireland and should have won the game.
I definitely remember that.
Yeah, should have won the game, and then it was just downhill. It's basically,
was that against Northwestern?
It's against Northwestern.
Because that ended up being
Northwestern's
the
only
last win for Pat Fitzgerald, right?
Over in Ireland. That's exactly
right.
No, you're exactly right.
Or maybe it was a conference run. I'm not
God,
sure.
Steve, good catch. I tell you what, man, like when you're writing all these down, because I write them out individually.
It's tough.
The matrix gets caught in your head. Good catch. Thank you. It's going to save me a lot of grief. So Nebraska 7-5 overall.
All right, let's go to D-Dales23, hashtag Ask Crain and Co. What is more impressive for Penn State, a win at Ohio State or a win at home against Michigan?
Oh, man.
I just feel like whenever you go on the road and win.
Especially.
Yeah,
You know?
I would say at Ohio State. I mean, how many teams have beat Ohio State at Ohio State lately? I mean, not that, there's been a lot of teams beating Michigan in general lately, but you look at Penn State, they got one of the best home field environments that there is.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts there. I would be impressed by both. I think we can walk and chew gum at the same time, but going to Ohio State and winning that game is big. Man, I am so excited about this Ohio State at Notre Dame game. I'm super.
It's going to be solid, dude. It's going to be solid. Let's go to Mike RFF. It's a lifestyle, baby. Would you guys be down to do a Maction prediction?
Who wins the MAC?
Let's do it.
Huh?
Look,
Little sidebar?
Look, I'll never. When it comes to football, especially college football, don't tip me with a good time, buddy. I'll go MAC, Sun Belt, AAC, Mountain West, Mountain East. I'm just kidding. It's not a conference. No, man. We'll we can dabble. All right, one more. We're gonna wrap.
All right, let's go to Travis Elrod. Hashtag Ask Crain and Company. Which Big Ten coach has the hottest seat this season?
Which Big Ten coach?
Big Ten
Tom Allen
coach
at Indiana.
Yeah.
Just because I think Mel Tucker's contract. If we're talking about not this year but next year, I think Mel Tucker's going to be on the hot seat. It's Tom Allen. I don't think 4-8 keeps him around. I mean, outside of that, Loxley's fine. You got to PJ's fine. Matt Rule's in year one. I don't think who you gonna get that's better?
The Indiana one is right on the money. And remember, it was only a couple seasons ago when they had Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah.
And they beat Michigan, and they put.
They're one of the best
really
stories in
good
college
season.
football.
Yeah.
One of the best stories in college
Incredible
football. So it's got to be Tom Allen. All right, let's get to rapid fire.
Let's do it. All right.
Pew.
Pew pew. Shohei Ohtani is done pitching for the rest of the season with a tear in his elbow. Good thing he still hits really well because he hit his 44th home run to lead the league.
Yeah, and remember, he had some trouble with this. I'm trying to remember if it was 2018. He did like some blood platelet stuff, some stem stuff. At what point is he going to have to just do
Just
one
hit?
or the other? And it's looking like it's going to have to be hitting.
Do you think it'll happen?
Eventually, it has to. As he gets older, I just don't know. Like, this is so new. I don't know. Like, I've seen this, with 12-year-olds, and you see it in high school, and you see it some in college. You see it a little more now than you have seen in a while in college. But at some point, it's the question is, what do you get more value out of with Shohei Ohtani, or do you move him to the pen? Is it something to where, hey, Shohei, you're going to be, we want you to hit, going to be in the lineup every day. We've got universal DH. So when you look at the free agency, if he goes to the National League, it's not going to matter. They still have a designated hitter. And do you bring him in maybe as a closer or something like that? I just don't think you can be a starting pitcher that throws every 5 days and be a guy in a 162-game regular season that goes in there and takes the amount of bats and has the amount of force that Shohei generates. I just don't think you can sustain that over time. That's why when we see this, again, it's a lot different if you're coming out there and you're throwing one inning every 3 to 4 games, or they're bringing you in, or they're saying, hey, you'll throw a certain amount of innings, and then we get to the playoffs. We need to bring you in there as an extra arm. We can do that. It's kind of a way to cheat the roster a little bit. I don't think it's sustainable. And I want to see Shohei play. I don't want to see him get ruined because of injury. I want to see him play.
I want to see him get ruined because he's on the Angels. All right, leave. Get away from him.
He's leaving.
You're too good. You need to get away.
Yeah,
He'll be shut down pitching for the rest of the year. Sooner or later, he might have to choose one, but whoever the next team he goes to, really is going to have to manage his pitch load and his innings. Or so he doesn't need to go out there and throw 7 innings. Right? He needs maybe 3, 4, maybe turn into a reliever.
I don't think you can be a starter. Or do you do it to where, like the Rays, and we've kind of see this trend in baseball where the starter goes and throws 3 innings, and then you turn it over to the pen. I just don't see him being able to throw this amount of innings and hit and take the amount of bats.
100%.
All right, let's go to the NFL. We were talking the other day about how much Kyle Shanahan likes Sam Darnold. Well, he's named him the backup quarterback now. Trey Lance is in limbo. Sam Darnold looks like he's going to be QB2 for the 49ers.
Yeah, Trey Lance, hey, let's get out here with the receiver group and work around. I don't know if it's as much as Shanahan, is in love with Sam Darnold. You can't, what are you going to name Trey Lance a backup after watching him play? The dude looks like Haley Joel Osment, the Sixth Sense. Every time he gets a snap, he's just seeing dead people running around. Like, he just panics. He's Jodie Foster. You had to make this move. And look, Sam Darnold's a capable backup for the 49ers. And you look at Brock Purdy, speaking of UCL, coming off the same injury that Shohei, it looks like he has. You never know coming back from that, even though the reports are good. So having that capable backup's there, but you can't trust Trey Lance. Hell no, I'm not trusting Trey Lance.
All right, Jets wide receiver Corey Davis is stepping away from football. He didn't officially use the word retire, but he may be done.
Yeah, I think it's over with. You hate to see it. There's a lot of, and not that, look, Corey played for a long time, played a lot longer than a lot of people. Coming out of Western Michigan, a guy that people had a lot of high hopes for. And look, you never say never, but I think this is the end of the road.
2 teams have submitted offers to trade for Colts running back Jonathan Taylor. The Dolphins are one of them.
Dude, if Jonathan Taylor goes to the Dolphins, oh my God.
They're so stacked.
I mean, at some point, like, are we looking at the Dolphins and saying, okay, you now have better skill position players than anybody else in the league?
I mean, they'd be the East Coast 49ers.
I mean, let's think about it.
Unbelievable teams, but at quarterback, I mean, I have to see Tua stay healthy.
No, I agree with that. But outside of the quarterback position, name a better skill position
It's
group.
the 49ers and the Dolphins.
Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, let's say Jonathan Taylor, Mike Gesicki. I think A-Chain's going to be an absolute problem.
Did Gesicki get traded?
Did Gesicki get traded? Am I losing my mind here?
No.
No, he's still there. He's skedaddling in Miami still.
Maybe you say the Eagles? The Eagles be up there? You got
Monte, AJ, Boss Miles Sanders.
Goddard.
Yeah, Gesicki's on the Patriots now.
He's on the Patriots
Okay.
now? Who's running tight end for the Dolphins? Am I losing my mind? But no, Blaine, I would say Eagles,
And I heard the Eagles are trying to put one in for him too.
Eagles, Niners, Dolphins. Has to be.
Don't go to the Dolphins. I just drafted Tyreek Hill. I don't need JT taking points from your boy. I don't need it.
Interesting.
All right, so we'll keep track of that. All right, let's go back to college football here. Brett Yormark told Texas Tech, take care of business against Texas.
I mean, I saw this on Twitter, and I believe it was Andy Staples from On3 what was talking about it. And I kind of agree with them. I mean, if I'm Brett Yormark, Texas is gone. Okay, you're one of the 2 flagships of the conference. I don't mind this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate this. I don't think this is something that, look, would Greg Sankey do that? No. Would Petiti do it at the Big Ten? No. Who the hell cares what George Kliakoff would do? I'd do the opposite of everything he does. But I think this is kind of Brett Yormark being the younger, kind of, he talked about trying to appeal to Gen Z and being hip and with it, at the Big 12. I don't blame you. Like, okay, you wanna go off and you can find somebody better? Okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna sit here and just kiss your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're gone. You're leaving me. You're leaving me to go down the street to somebody who's got a bigger house and a pool and a sauna and those 2 big German dogs that look like they're from the Chronicles of Narnia. I get that. All right. But on the way out, I don't care if you trip and bust your ass on the doorstep. I'm not going to cry over spilt milk. Hey, I may come over there and help you up. Accidentally drop. No, but I may come over there and help you up a little bit, but I'm not going to be like, oh no, what? I'm Brett Yormark. I want Texas Tech. It's good for business for the Big 12 for Texas Tech to beat Texas. I don't hate this.
We all know that's what he wants.
Yeah.
And what you think. So, look.
And look, if you're a Texas, I get the Texas fans being like, well, this is really unprofessional, whatever. But
unprofessional.
But y'all, you left, right? Hey, I'm go get milk. See you in a little bit, kids. Psych. I'm hanging out with Instagram models now with Klay Thompson on some boat. Yacht.
What say you over there?
I'm not surprised by this. Like, you're going to catch a lot of flack.
Are you surprised by it?
You're going to catch a lot of flack.
I heard you were surprised.
I mean, you're bailing.
Are you surprised?
I mean, your hashtag, you picked up the phone and said, I'm out. So sooner or later, I mean, you got to make the move. You got to make the call.
All right, last 2 here. The ACC has ramped up conversations again this week to include not only Stanford and Cal this time, but also SMU.
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
Here's what, okay. I
going on?
always sunnied from Philadelphia this. I connected the strings to the pictures. Here's what I think's happening. SMU looked at the ACC and said, listen, we'll do it for free. We'll do it. 7 years, no media rights money. Methodists got that money over there, okay? Religions make money, never forget that. They'll say they'll go 7 years, no media rights.
Is that what they said?
Media right money, no media right revenue, yes.
SMU said to join
SMU,
the ACC.
7 years, a week's worth of years of no TV media revenue. Now, Cal and Stanford will take less revenue, all right? Because they're like Jack right now. They're freezing in the water, Kate Winslet, Would you please scoot over on the door, Rose? I'm freezing to death out here and there's sharks. Oh, wait, you won't? We're just going to hold on and hope, right? Hold on and hope. Here's what I think is happening. The ACC is trying to appease Florida State and Clemson, who have come out and said, we need more money, all right? It's a J.G. Wentworth situation. I want my money, and I want it now. We're creating more revenue for the conference than we're getting. This whole even-Steven stuff's not going to work because they're looking to their left. Florida State's looking to their left and seeing Florida is that there's about to be a $30 million gap in the amount of money that Florida's getting compared to Florida State. Clemson's looking to their left, saying, hey, there's about to be a $30 million gap in between the amount of money that South Carolina gets and what we get with our TV media deal. So what I think is happening is, and it's more complicated than this when you look at how to split the revenue. Okay, I'm not saying I'm an expert on exactly how you split the revenue, but I think they're trying to add Stanford, Cal, and then SMU to bring in more revenue and be able to cut Florida State and Clemson and some of these other schools that are bringing in more revenue for the conference a bigger check to keep them. And don't forget, one of the deals in the contract between ESPN and the ACC is that a certain amount of revenue that has to be comparable to either what you're bringing in or what the SEC is getting or something like that. And that's the one caveat where people are saying there's wiggle room for the lawyers to be able to get out of that contract because the ESPN and ACC contract goes till 2036. Okay, and that's about as Matt Damon and Good Will Hunting as I can do this thing.
Yeah, bringing in Stanford
and Matt
Cal,
Damon,
SMU, it won't be enough. Even if you gave all of that revenue to just Florida State and Clemson.
At least they're trying, though.
I get it, but that's not going to cover the gap.
But I can see, but can you imagine SMU's just like, they're just like the fat girl that gets to hang out with the good-looking girls, and like, but they just make fun of her all the time.
If Florida State and Clemson go to the SEC, would they then want an even distribution of money? Or are they fine with Alabama getting more money and Georgia getting more?
Well, no, you come to the SEC, you're going to get what we give you.
Well, it's an even split.
It is an even split. Like, you're not, you're going to come over here begging? Like, please, put on the gloves, slap, take the glove off.
It's Thanksgiving. You're at the kids' table.
They're like, we're good with even split again.
Yeah,
like even split.
Yeah, it's like, listen, this is open bar, but calm down a little bit.
Or what if they just come in? They're like, why is Vanderbilt getting the same amount of money as us?
I mean, play hard.
Well, here's why. Here's why.
They got to finish their state.
Play hard.
Why? You want to know why? And like, I think Vanderbilt this year is an interesting team. Love Will Shepherd. Love the Swan kid. I think they're a little bit deeper up front than what people think.
Bowling?
Can we wait till tomorrow?
Bowling over there?
Calm down.
Expectations.
Yeah.
Playoff?
Playoffs?
Yeah.
Playoff?
Police officer.
Do you have Vanderbilt playoff?
Natty.
Wow.
Natty. Let's go.
Vanderbilt in the college football.
God, I knew it. I knew he'd come around.
So I just totally lost my. Here's why Vanderbilt is still in the SEC. You want to know why? Because they say, hey, SEC, y'all don't really care about school. And say, oh, we don't. Oh, we don't.
Bring in the kicker.
No, yeah, bring in Vanderbilt. Hey, tell them what you got on the ACT, dog.
And they're terrible.
Yeah, look, and we had a girl kicker, and she kicked a squib kick one time, and it was awesome.
And the Nashville market.
And the
Nashville Rutgers is in the Big Ten.
Is that at Nashville?
Last one. Let's go to the NHL here. Toronto Maple Leafs signed Auston Matthews to a 4-year extension, $53 million. I can't wait for the call from Kirk tomorrow.
Yeah, we put this in here just for Kirk. Now he didn't have to skyhook his way out of there. Excited for the Maple Leafs. Can't wait to watch them have a great regular season and not do anything in the postseason.
I heard they're going to win it all this year.
Yeah, I heard they're going to score a ton of goals, and then in the postseason they're going to blow it.
You had to reach an agreement with Auston Matthews.
Had to. Yeah.
Generational talent.
Come on now. That's your Steph.
Where's our Maple Leaf stick? There it is.
It's back there.
There it is. Present and accounted for.
Yeah. It's a gift from Auston Matthews.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Through the transitive
He made a goal with that one time.
Yeah. He made good goal with that.
That's all I got, boys.
Good stuff, my friend. All right, let's get back to the Club de la Booster.
Chris Hogan, what's up, Chris? Excluding the SEC teams, who would be in the college football playoff this year will never happen. Just curious on your thoughts.
Excluding if the SEC wasn't in there?
Yes.
Well, you already know two of my teams. I'm unveiling the last two tomorrow when we unveil SEC, Notre Dame, college football playoff, Heisman winner, national champion, and all that stuff. I got Michigan and Texas in it right now. And that's as far as I'm going to go, Chris.
All right, let's go. Return to Glory 88. Says, my Lord, it's been a long time since I've been gone. But I'm back to Crain and Co. now that the Irish play the midshipmen in a few days. What's your thoughts on the game? Go Irish.
First off, great to have you back. Don't leave again.
Yeah.
You understand? Or you're grounded.
Go to your room.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, go to your room.
Go to your room.
No dinner for you.
And talk to your mother.
Yeah.
I'll bring some dessert up later.
Due to lack of hustle. Oh, good cup, bad cup. I love this. Notre Dame Navy gonna be dropping 6 bets Saturday. All gonna be college football, buddy. It's really excited for that one. That over under at 50.5 with the new clock rules. Navy, turn around, hand it off, hand it off, hand it off, hand it off. We're already halfway through the second quarter, 10-0.
Feels like a trap.
Notre Dame. Feels like a trap?
Feels like a trap bet.
I don't know. It doesn't feel like a trap bet to me.
Like a trap? Like they're pulling the guard and the tackle?
Counter trap?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a trap.
You're trapping the nose or the 3-tech?
Who knows?
Really?
You're sick.
Yeah.
You're a monster.
3-tag.
You're trapping the nose.
Yeah.
Let's go to Dallas Coley with a $2 donation. Appreciate it, Dallas. Says he understands your logic, Jake. Hashtag OH. Watch Maryland.
Look, shout out to my guy Kai Loxley. He's at Iowa Western with him. I love the Loxley family. You talk about family that's battled through some adversity too. They're an incredible family. Coach Lox is a great guy. Mike is an unbelievable guy. Really cares about his players. It's the defense. I'll never worry about the offense with Mike Loxley. You got little Tua over there.
Isn't Josh Gaddis the OC now?
Is it? Yeah, but I mean, Mike's got his fingerprints all over that thing. I mean, it's a CSI investigation. He's got his fingerprints all over that thing. Defensively is Maryland's problem. I don't think they're going to be able to stop anybody. But I will say this, speaking of Maryland, I saw the All Blacks the other day with the black helmet.
How'd they look?
Well, anything looks better than that Jackson Pollock painting uniform they wear with their state flag on it. It just looks awful. But the All Blacks go so hard. God, they go so hard.
All right, let's go to CCM28 with a $5 donation. Appreciate it, man. Says if Brewers make the postseason any way they can get past the Braves or the Dodgers.
Yeah, sure. For sure.
Definitely the Braves.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm not jinxing the Braves. They're definitely get past the Braves for sure.
I heard they already did.
Are the Brewers, I like Hauser. I like Burns. How much you trust in the bullpen? How much you trust in the pen when it comes to the Brewers? So what it's going to come down to is what wins in the playoffs.
Man, Reds are all the way down to third in that division now.
I know.
Called that one.
I know. How about the Mariners?
They're tied with the Cubs, I guess, at 3.5 games back.
the Mariners, too. Look at them.
Mariners.
Stare at them.
Mariners.
AL West, right? This moves my mind.
Third, still a game and a half behind the Rangers, but Houston's a game back, too. So that division, man.
It's going to come down to the end. Dude, the American League is just incredible right now. It's like a toy guy.
The A's are 36.5 games back.
I should keep the A's?
Yeah.
Well,
Still shot.
you add a couple letters in between, and that's what.
Just call Brad Pitt. I'll fix it. Let's go to Justin Decker. Are we talking upper or lower? So I was watching the Little League World Series, and Jake, you were 1,000% right about Dixie Youth being so much better. We would have run ruled those.
Oh my God, it would have been a murder. I'm just telling you. I laugh at it.
I heard from the Little League World Series that it wouldn't have been.
Well, guess what? That's what happens when you listen to 12-year-olds.
Let's go to Jeremy Went. What's up, Jeremy? Says I like the Badgers as much as the next guy, but Wisconsin 11-1.
Yeah.
A little wild.
I don't know if it is, though. Let's go through it again, Chair Bear.
I started to feel better after I saw you put it, too.
Here we go. Buffalo at home. Win, right? We're not talking about the Bills. They played the Jets week 1. By the way, your boy may have taken Aaron Rodgers yesterday. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Second, at Wazoo. Not a walk in the park. Not a walk in the park, but I think Wisconsin's better than they are. Give me 2-0. Your boys from Statesboro, week 3.
Come on, hail Southern.
Yeah, hail no. That's 3-0 Wisconsin. At Purdue. Tougher game than what you think.
Tricky.
Hudson Card, vet in the game. Thought he really came in and performed pretty well against Bama. I mean, again, he's been in college football for 35 years. Him and Bo Nix both have their AARP card. At Purdue, give me hey, that's a tight one. That's cool. What does Lee Corso say? Can't understand him now, but what he used to say was it's closer than the experts think.
Closer than the experts.
Okay, Rutgers at home. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I've never been to New Jersey. Don't really want to. They're going to lose that game. Iowa at home. It's an old-fashioned slugfest. Think Iowa's going to be better? All of us had them 9-3, 6-3. Look at you, look at me. That's a win at home for Wisconsin. At Illinois, that's my loss. Brett Bielema. Looks like he just ate a whole hog in one bite, like cartoon eating it, like Pixar eating it. Hungry, hungry hippo. But I love the way they play. Luke Altmaier, not enough people are talking about him. Not enough people. I'm telling you, the kid can play. Ohio State at home. Biggest win for a while in Wisconsin. I feel like this is an overtime game. Wisconsin wins in overtime. I'm calling that one right now. At Indiana, Sorry, Tom Allen. Fourth time I've said that. Really like him, even though there's a panicker on the sideline. The Northwestern at home win. Nebraska at home win. At Minnesota, PJ Fleck row the boat.
tricky.
Why? It's a lifeboat because the ship sank.
All right, let's go to Joe
One,
Pined. The $10 donation. Appreciate it, Joe. Says, sorry for hopping on late, boys. It's okay, I forgive you.
Hey, you're
I
in the
missed your
trust-
Big Ten predictions, but what do I know is that Jake called Drew Skywalker a hinge player 2 days ago. He says, well, you're a fringe American. I said what I said.
I said hinge, not a fringe player. Hinge
No,
player.
he says you called him a hinge player 2 days ago.
Drew Aller?
Yeah, and he says, well, you're a fringe American.
Oh, because the French thing?
Yeah.
Look, Joe, am I wrong about Drew Aller? Like, if Drew Aller, Penn State is one of the few teams that is good enough around breaking in a new quarterback that if the new quarterback plays well,
They could make the playoff.
they can make the playoff.
Yeah.
I mean, got y'all 10-2, dog.
Let's go to Riot Hides with a $2 donation. It's
Here
a
we
riot,
go.
baby. It says, Bo Nick's billboard in Dallas is elite. Hashtag Heisman.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you play 35 years, eventually you're probably going to win it. I see what Oregon does. I respect it.
All right, let's go to Joe Desjardins. It's probably wrong.
How do you spell it?
Desjardins.
Say it again. Spell it again.
Desjardins.
Yeah. Yeah. Desjardins.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. Texas Tech wins Big 12. Tyler Show hasn't lost a game. He started and finished. They got a better O-line and defense this year. Is Tyler an underdog for Heisman?
Yeah, look, I think him and Tanner Mordecai are two sneaky ones. I got asked last night in the Twitter space, give me your breakout player for the Big 12 that nobody's talking about, and Tyler's it. I've got Texas Tech losing to Texas in the Big 12 championship game. Hell of a year, too, for Joey McGuire, one of my favorite guys in the business. Really excited about the future of Texas Tech and a team to watch out for to fill that vacuum at the top. Not from a brand standpoint from Texas and Oklahoma. That's going to be impossible. But to kind of really level up, Beyonce, let me upgrade you to that next level. There's going to be a vacuum there at the top. We're going to get back to the Booster Club. Make sure you subscribe. We're 2,000 subscribers away from 100,000. I want that 100,000. And I'm willing to get 100,000 or die trying. What do we got? We got yes or no next?
Yes or no? That's a PJ question.
PJ.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
That's a good slogan.
It's kind of random today. It's not like a
Love
team
that.
one,
Love
but-
that. Nothing wrong with
Typically,
that.
I don't like
Random.
randos, but, we can do
You
it.
got to let a rando in every now and then.
Yep. Chelsea
Yeah,
didn't even
okay.
go to semi.
All right. Djokovic's
What?
decision, it's hard to read his name. Djokovic's decision to not get the vaccine and to be openly opposed to it did not harm his career in a significant way. But that detail will always be at the forefront when discussing his career/legacy.
Did not harm his career in a significant way.
Yes.
Did not harm his career.
Yes.
Basically, it didn't harm his career, but that's a big part of what people are always going to remember.
Yes.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say. He's won so much. We know he's one of the greatest ever. He'd be the greatest of all time. It's a great argument. You look at the amount of majors he's won. But I think the reason it'll be at the forefront is a good reason, because he took a stand for what he believed in against immense pressure and not being let in certain countries, including this one. So I think it's a positive for Joker.
And the biggest thing to remember, he made that decision at a time when he was still trailing in the overall Grand Slams category. He was trailing Nadal. I think he was tied with Federer at that time. Still made that decision. He could have been banned for all of them.
Yeah.
Still to this day, that could have cost him being the overall champion. So to make that decision now, we know that he's come back, and I think he's at 23 majors right now with the U.S. Open starting this weekend, actually.
Yeah,
So-
I agree.
That's it, Blaine?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much that.
That's-
I
what do you
don't know
say?
how much you want me to break down Djokovic about tennis.
Yeah. It's like
What do you want me to talk about his backhand?
It's like
Two-hander.
it's like oh boy on Old School when he's debating Will Ferrell and he's like, "Well, do you ever rebuttal?" He's like, "No, that was perfect."
Raging
yeah, there's not
Cajun.
much more
Yeah.
to say.
All right, number 2. The state of Texas is more of a football state than Alabama.
No.
Your card says on how you have it.
On.
Say, no.
No.
I'll say no as well.
Yeah.
I'll say no. You want to know why? because there's no professional
That's
team
what I was going to say.
in the state.
Yep.
There's
No
no
professional.
there's no Dallas Mavericks, right? We don't even have an MLS team, I don't think. No, hold
No
on.
Rangers.
Yeah.
What?
There's no
Astros.
professional
There's a
baseball
soccer ball in the
team.
state of Alabama.
We got college football, man. That's it.
We got that in hunting.
Yeah, we got that hunting.
That's all we got, man.
Yep. That's
So
exactly
it just
right.
means more.
Where was Friday Night Lights placed again? Where was that set?
That's
Was it Texas?
it's in
I believe it
Texas,
was
yeah.
Texas.
Is that your lone argument?
yeah.
Yeah, what about two-a-days? Where was that at?
What about the majority of Alabama players? Where are they from?
Hoover, yeah. The majority of Alabama players are from Alabama.
That's all we got.
Because Trey told me that's not the case.
Yeah, go to Mobile.
Aw.
We're just making stuff up now.
Yeah, I love it. I just need to know, Trey, I know you saw my draft yesterday, and you remember that thing we talked about before? I can't believe it happened. Me and Trey.
I just know a lot of people think of other things when they think of Alabama.
There was a
but that's
player
okay.
there I didn't think was going to be there. All right.
With the acquisition of Messi, the MLS will surpass the European leagues in terms of success within the next 5 years.
Hard no. Big no.
No?
No.
I need a bigger one.
Yeah. No.
Two-hander?
They've been playing soccer over there for 8,000 years.
But it has been phenomenal watching the support that he's gotten.
Yeah, it's been
over
cool.
here.
Yeah, for sure.
Like David Beckham came over here, and there was a lot of excitement. That was cool. Then Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but this is a different level.
Yeah.
Messi, the
Watching-
GOAT.
Yeah.
Baha.
Watching excitement.
That's all they got over there in Europe. Soccer. That's all they care about.
Yeah. Come see us.
We'll never care about it that much.
We need our version of football in the Olympics. You want to talk about
Rugby?
God.
No,
No.
that's not football.
I just want to go play Sweden for 4 quarters and see what it's like.
Yeah. I want to go play like South Korea.
Oh.
Can
Oh,
you imagine? Oh my God.
It'd be so fun to watch. I'd watch it. It'd be great.
It'd be the best.
It'd be the best.
American football in the Olympics? Man, hey, first round, man, we got Ghana. What? They're Ghanas.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I'd watch it every second of
Like,
it.
hey, there goes Jonathan Taylor. Just ran through Europe.
Yeah.
Like
on
it's
a-
the 40s.
No, he's holding out. He
Yeah,
wants more
not
money.
against
There's
Europe.
not a person in China who could block Aaron Donald. There's not. There's not.
TikTok.
Oh, can you imagine like North Korea sends Kim Jong-un out there? It's like, don't worry, he can talk to dolphins. Like, oh, we're about to see. You're playing the
Yeah.
dolphins.
Can you talk to Jalen Carter?
He just broke a sled. He just broke another sled.
That one really took a turn in the conversation. I was not anticipating that.
Oh, that's so much fun.
So this next one I was told was kind of depressing, but that's okay.
Great.
The anticipation and excitement I feel as an adult in the final few days before college football starts is greater than the joy and anticipation I felt as a child before Christmas morning.
No.
Um,
Christmas.
God.
Christmas.
hold on.
No.
Christmas is still during football season, though. This is a trick question.
Oh, is it a trick question?
It's a trick question.
Well, it's like
Just
Ow.
flat?
I'm going
How is
half.
that a trick question?
Okay. Well, that's what somebody asking a trick question would say. Here's just for fun. I'm gonna say yes. Yes. Here's why. I think as an adult, and I don't have kids yet, David. You can speak to this, or at least ones that I know of. I feel like giving presents. Like as a kid, like Christmas morning, obviously you get up, hey, it's great. You know, you get presents, whatever. But like giving presents as you get older, I think is more rewarding. And I just love college football so much.
I don't disagree on the giving presents, but the Christmas when you were younger, the excitement was more than just about getting gifts.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
like
the
you're out of
magic.
school.
It's Santa.
Yeah, there's
You know, like
family. You're together. You're at grandma's house. That was the only time
I'm just
I went
glad-
to grandma's house.
I was just glad
Live
I
far
wasn't
away.
in school. That's the thing.
And that's another part of it. It's like the semester just ended, or
Yeah.
you have when you're young.
God, dude, I was so stoked to have it, like Christmas morning. I tell you what, as a kid, dude. Well, like I'm trying to
were.
remember like the time like when I found out Santa wasn't real. You know,
We have kids that listen to the show in the car with their parents. So it's just a joke. Blaine's kidding.
Uncle Blaine.
Uncle Blaine. He's
Look at that
in the
mustache.
dumpster. Next
Look at
question.
that
look,
Next
I'm just
question.
trying to find out the
Next
right answer to the question.
Yeah, next question. Goodness.
Okay. One might say that the creation of NIL is the Achilles heel of college sports, maintaining the purity of the game.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say
Real funny.
no.
I thought it was funny.
Real
I'm
funny.
But I
gonna
think
say
it's
no.
a good question.
The Achilles heel joke. I get it now.
Okay.
I get it.
Just now.
I get it. No, because listen, players were getting paid way before this. I think it is a way to organize that. My biggest worry is players becoming employees. That's what I think would accelerate this into a huge problem. But I'm still kind of muddy in the waters of, I thought NIL was if Bryce Young wanted to do a deal with Dr. Pepper, then Bryce Young's people talked to Dr. Pepper's people, and there was no middleman. There was no grouping of money to go give to players. That's with some of these collectives. And I know there's some that are our friend Drew Butler and you know what they do and like what Jim Cavalli and what they're doing, which it's very interesting to see Jim just teamed up with Brandon Copeland to start kind of a players chapter where they have kind of representation on issues in the game, like that, rules of the game and stuff like that. That's interesting to me. It's way different than being an employee of the school. But no,
that may lead to a union. That may lead to unionization.
Yeah, but like I do think that players, when it comes down to the game, need representation on things that happen. Just a way to at least voice their opinion on things outside of it just being like individuals that come out and say something. I do like that. But at the end of the day, I think NIL is one of the least worrisome things. I'm more worried about the way we do the transfer portal than that and conference realignment, losing regionality and things like that. So yeah. I would say no.
Yeah, guys getting compensated for a skill set they have is not going to ruin college football. No. That's a pro-American sentiment, right?
For sure.
What I think is the obsession with the money and putting money above all else and looking down on receiving an education at the collegiate level, I think is a net negative. And all the connections you make and the tutelage you receive from some of the greatest coaches before you go to the next level, and just sort of a softer mentality in general, I think would torpedo the sport more than guys being able to succeed financially.
Yeah.
All right. This last one. With the decline of masculinity in our culture, it is only a matter of time until the physical sports are completely diluted to the point that people will no longer want to watch them.
Yes. Or play them. We'll have esports. We'll be in the Matrix before long.
Ew.
Robots.
No. Makes too much money.
But I will say that I think that's why you see people flocking to the UFC. I mean, not only does Dana White like run his organization in such a great way and it's unified, like that's the problem with boxing. It's so splintered, right? Like Dana White makes all the decisions, he runs the place, but it's also, as you see more and more rule changes in the game of football and other collision sports, people are flocking to the UFC, saying, that's why I used to love football, I'm gonna watch this sport now.
Yeah, I think we can balance trying to make football a safer game through technology and equipment and stuff like that without taking all the physicality out of it. I know that practices are way different now. The amount of hitting that goes on, that there's no more 3-a-days, 4-a-days, all that stuff. And look, there are rules. I'm a defensive guy. I think these rules where if you whisper at the quarterback, it's a 15-yard penalty, that's bull. I think some of these, I mean, like the roughing, the guy who got fined the other day for the Steelers, who just tackled somebody going across the middle, got like a $40,000 fine. That's ridiculous. I just, until it starts affecting, the minute it starts affecting their pocketbook, they'll change the rules back. Like, I think there's a lot of there's a certain guys under,
I think it'll be too late then. You'll be in a situation like Major League Baseball right now where you're like, oh, well, not as many people are watching anymore. We're not America's pastime. We got to change all these rules and make bases bigger. And
if Major League Baseball started letting the players fight each other, more people would watch it. I mean, that's a switch you flip. I mean, they would go back. I think they'd go back to what Blaine's been the one who said that. I mean, I'm not acting like he hasn't. But like, if for some reason it started, football got to the point where it was so soft that people stopped watching, which that would have to be a hell of a shift. They would be like, all right, player safety. Well, you know what you signed up for. Right, and it would go back, and you'd have these guys destroying each other again, and people would go back to watching it again. I just think it's different because it's a gladiator sport.
Yeah,
it's an easy faucet to turn back on.
I think sooner or later it's just going to be all robots playing, and people are going to be playing like video games, controlling
I don't think you're crazy.
The players.
I think
How far in
I
the
think
future, though?
That's
What
a
are
good
we talking?
question.
Yeah. That's
not a 5
That's
year.
200
no,
years?
No.
I don't think that long.
60?
60 years?
I think
Good, I'll be
Blaine's
dead
onto
by then.
something.
60
I
years?
think Blaine's on.
Good, I'll be dead by then.
Everything's becoming virtual, so, I wouldn't be surprised you put the goggles on.
And then the guys who have the controllers are the heroes.
Yeah.
But
It's sad.
It's a real, what's that, Steven Spielberg, Ready Player One situation.
Ready Player One.
Yeah.
look, that doesn't sound that awful. I feel like if we're playing NCAA, I'd get a shot.
Oh, look, I could still play. Even with the torn Achilles.
Does that robot Achilles?
Yeah.
That one don't tear, bro.
I can still play.
That one don't tear.
Booster Club?
Yep.
Broken Devil Dog, what's up, brother? Hashtag Ask Crain and Co. Who's more likely to beat Michigan this year? Penn State or them Buckeyes?
For the first time in a long, long time, I will say it's more likely to be Penn State.
Yeah, for a couple. Number one, it's on the road. Michigan's going to Happy Valley, which again we've said it's going to be a whiteout probably 55 times. I would be shocked if it wasn't. And they've had Ohio State's number, and you get them at home, and I think they're just a better team.
But also, Michigan has won the game 2 years in a row. The Buckeyes are going to be chomping at the bit to win.
I know. I love how you're trying. You're playing it even.
Well, would you say that you wouldn't
I'm
say
doing the same
anything
thing for the
different if
Braves.
it were Auburn and Alabama? Like if you, when it comes to Auburn and you look across in Tuscaloosa and you say, well, Alabama has so much better of a team this year and they've beaten us the last 2 years, but there's always a chance Auburn.
Yeah,
will win.
David, I'm an Auburn fan. I'm going to assume the worst thing that could possibly happen is going to happen. Like that's just ingrained.
I
in
get
me.
it.
That's just again, you can't kill what's already dead inside. I've already made up my mind that what's going to happen.
Okay.
Like it's going to be bad. Therefore, it's like Vince Vaughn says in what's the dodgeball? He's like, I realize that if I don't set goals,
You'll never be
I
disappointed.
can never be
There you
disappointed.
go.
That's right.
Let's go to Brent Habley. What's up, Brent? He says, why do all three of you have Nebraska beating my Hawkeyes?
Do we all three have that?
Let's see. Let me pull it up. Let's see. I was my first.
Oh, it's at home. So it's in
Yep.
Lincoln.
I've got Iowa losing at Nebraska. Last game of the year. Matt Rule ended the first year with a bang. Look, I got your Hawkeyes going 9-3 and 6-3 in the conference. After that just monstrosity on offense that was put out last year, and you got Brian Ferentz's kid, or Kirk Ferentz's kid as the OC. Here's the scary part though, if you're Iowa. Let's say you do go 9-3, 6-3, and you're better on offense. Now Brian Ferentz is never getting fired as the offensive coordinator. So would you rather this? Let me ask you this. This is a great question. We talked about this in the space last night. By the way, if you're not following us on Twitter, you need to wake up. Or on X, whatever you call it. Would it be better for Iowa in the long run? I'm going to compare this to something. Would it be better for Iowa in the long run for Iowa fans, like for the program, if they were awful again on offense this year and Kirk Ferentz said, I'm not firing my son. I don't care how bad we are on offense. And he gets pushed out and then resigns and says, you know what, I'm going to go off into the sunset. Would it be better in the long run for Iowa to do that this year as opposed to going 9-3, 6-3, and then just going through this spectrum offensively of just never good enough, and you have to every now and then have a quarterback that can sustain you and skill players and an offensive line that's good enough to sustain you and win 8 or 9 games every now and then. What's better for the program? You said Brent asked that question?
Yes.
And I'm going to compare it to this. I think Tank Bigsby going out of bounds, okay, and not helping and Brian Harsin losing to Alabama the way that he did 2 years ago. Okay, they were always going to lose last year on the road at Bama. But 2 years ago, and him not beating Bama was the best thing to happen to Auburn in the long run so they could get his ass out of there. Because if he'd have beat Alabama in year one, you'd have seen a panic extension, right? That's you see the Mel Tucker, right? The panic extension. I'm just telling you, man, sometimes bad stuff has to happen to lead to good stuff. Sometimes you got to get a little dirty to get a little clean.
Yeah, the question is how much longer is Kirk Ferentz going to coach there?
That's what I'm saying.
And I don't know.
That's the ultimate. That's the ultimate.
But
David.
given how much chaos there is with conference realignment this year, if Iowa were to win 9 games, that puts you in the realm of winning the West. I think Wisconsin will win the West, but if Iowa goes 9-3, they could win the Western Division and play in the conference championship. And before USC and UCLA and Oregon and Washington come in, that would be a big feather in their cap.
It would, but like the 5-year plan. Not a boy from Big Daddy who works at Hooters for 5 years, 5-year plan. with Brian Ferentz as OC. Like for Iowa to be able to like make the playoff and like have a chance to, because Iowa's a big brand. Like Iowa can, when they get cooking, they can get cooking. Just if you're an Iowa fan, I want to know that. I want to know, would you rather have to eat it a little bit this year we talked about putting Oh Boy on the raft earlier in the week, right? We're playing the flute. Woo-hoo.
All right, let's go to Tumbleweed 1477. That was beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done. It says, I'm a gal and I support bringing fights back to baseball. That's the best part. Used to love watching Bobby Cox storm the field, then chaos ensued.
God, Bobby.
Fun times.
You get thrown out quicker than a drunk in a nightclub.
It is a great part of hockey.
It is.
It's a great aspect of
I'm
hockey.
down with it.
Make baseball great again. Let's go to Logan Branham. What's up, Logan? So good picks, guys. Very interesting. Can't wait to see how many Tennessee fans show up angry tomorrow. GBO.
Well, last night, again, I'll go back to the space on X. Like, I have more Tennessee fans that are like, why are you so down on Tennessee? Man, I ain't even made my predictions yet on Tennessee. All I have said, and please tell me where I'm wrong as he closes his book. Tell me where I'm wrong. Joe Milton, to me, is Drew Aller, we talked about hinge player. Tanner Mordecai, hinge player. USC's entire defense, hinge player. But tell me where I'm wrong on this. Joe Milton, I call it the alien theory. I believe they're out there. All right, math tells me they're out there. But until I see them, I won't 100% truly believe it. Until I see Joe Milton be able to develop nuance as a passer. And I'm not saying you have to have the most feel. I'm not saying you got to sit there and read Braille with your eyes closed. You got to be good enough to get it in the strike zone consistently. On the bubble, on the now, on the dig, on the slant, on the hitch, the 9 route, the post, the corner, being able to not overthrow guys consistently. Because everybody is acting like Joe Milton is going to win the Heisman because he can throw it 90 yards or hit a golf cart from 80 yards away at the Manning Passing Academy. Joe Milton has had a strong arm his whole life. Why are people acting like they just found out about this? That's not the biggest question with Joe Milton. The question is not the fastball. And you know what? I hope he does. And if he does, Tennessee, you get Georgia at home, you could do some serious damage. You could have a repeat of last year or maybe even better if Joe Milton figures this out. And I know he works his ass off. And I know he's a great kid. And he hasn't quit. And I hope he has figured it out. I'm not down on Tennessee. I've just got to see Joe Milton throw the changeup. That's all I'm saying. So for the love of God, calm down.
So he was talking about Tennessee fans being mad? How about me being mad? I don't want to hear about Tennessee fans. How about me being mad? I picked them to win the NCAA basketball tournament.
Get mad, David.
What happened?
You picked him.
Bounced.
Yeah.
Picked him to win the NCAA baseball tournament a year ago. What happened? Bounced. I'm mad.
Yeah.
I'm let down by Tennessee. It's my new home state.
David, I want to see you get real.
I'm trying to support here. I'm trying to sing Rocky Top a couple times this year.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm the one that's angry here.
Here, sing Rocky Top real quick. Oh, yeah.
Wish that I was on a Rocky Top down in the Tennessee hills.
Yeah.
But we need Joe Milton to throw the ball better. And I think he will.
Okay.
No, we need Gregory Lawrence.
We do need Gregory Lawrence.
Says Monin to the booster
more
club.
than ever.
Says Harbaugh will have these boys playing hardball, and the victors shall be hailed.
God, that gets me fired up. Who
David,
said that?
calm down, David.
Come on, man.
Calm down, David. Harbaugh won't be first 3 games self-imposed. Your get off my lawn. It's the reviews are back.
Huh?
People loved your get off my lawn.
You think so?
Get off my lawn on a Wednesday. On a Tuesday. Hit the button. Hit the button.
Hold on.
You know what time it is.
On a Tuesday.
On a Thursday.
Are the reviews just in because you ate the burger?
That helped.
That did help.
Always bring food. You want good reviews? Always bring food.
Look, man, they're manufacturing adversity. It's a ruse, and I'm all about it.
I love it. Hey, how long y'all been in the SEC? We do that all the time. Kirby Smart, they're going 6-6. You hadn't heard?
I have heard.
Kirby's dressing here's what Kirby's dressed as a homeless guy and sitting out of the facility and see who's giving him money.
Oh, that's funny. What's up, Nancy? Let's go to Gopher Max for the $2 donation. Appreciate it, Gopher. Says, what games can Gophers upset for their 7th win?
Okay.
All right, I have wins at Nebraska, Eastern Michigan, Northwestern. I have wins. They have another non-conference win, Michigan State win, Illinois win. I do have 3 losses in a row at Purdue, Buckeyes, and Wisconsin.
We got the exact same thing. Do you got them 6-6, 4-5?
Yes, I do.
I've got win over Nebraska, win over Eastern Michigan, loss at North Carolina, win at Northwestern, Raging Cajuns, they beat them at home, loss against Michigan, loss at Iowa. They beat Michigan State and Illinois at home.
Yep.
They're going to beat Illinois. They lose at Purdue, at Ohio State, and then Wisconsin at home. The ones I would say to get to that 7th win, the most likely, I don't see it at North Carolina. I really don't. I just don't believe in y'all at the quarterback position enough.
Purdue.
I would say Purdue is probably the most likely. The second past that, I don't see it at Iowa. I don't see it at Ohio State. I mean, you'd have to say, David, it's got to come between what? North Carolina or Wisconsin at home, possibly?
Yeah, and let's see. I mean, let's see what happens with North Carolina in those first 2 weeks. They're going to open up with South Carolina.
And App State.
There could be some injuries. I don't know. But right now I have North Carolina winning.
Yeah, let me double-check that North Carolina stat real quick. See, North Carolina, South Carolina, App State. Dude, listen, I mean, geez. North Carolina's schedule, man. It's not a walk in the park. I know they got an FCS team.
So North Carolina's 3 non-conference games are South Carolina,
App State,
and Minnesota.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Tough.
Ugh.
Tough. Let's go to formerly Darth. $5 donation. Appreciate it, brother.
Guys.
Just hail to the burgers.
Hail to the burgers.
Free Harburgers.
I love it.
By the way, like putting a burger in anything that comes out of that butcher paper, it's just better.
You're welcome.
It just hits
really,
different.
like,
man.
dude, like it. I don't know. It gets me in the mood. It's like an ambiance thing.
Yeah.
It's like getting milk like in a mason jar, like cold milk. You know what that does to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just different.
Yeah.
Attention to detail.
For sure.
All right, let's go to Return to Glory 88. Will Notre Dame win 10 games?
Tomorrow.
You'll find out.
Tomorrow. I got them beating Ohio State. And hold on. You want to hear something crazy? Hear something crazy? Hold on. I'm getting there. Let me get to the red writing. Right now, the way I've got it going, I've got Notre Dame beating Ohio State and USC.
And we already have them beating Clemson.
Yeah.
We're already on record for that.
That's at Clemson. Guess what? Don't have them winning that one. I don't believe. Let me look back to my book of extreme justice and truth. Yeah, I got Clemson going 12-0. So I've got Notre Dame losing at Clemson, but beating Ohio State and USC, which means you go 11-1 with that schedule as an independent, and your only loss is at Clemson. And Clemson, well, I got Clemson losing to Florida State in the SEC championship game. I'm gonna do the math on science when we get back. Hey, stay in the Boost Club. I'm going over to bets. MLB standings. You want to run through it real quick, David? Just tell everybody where everybody's at.
Yeah, MLB standings.
We're gonna start covering MLB
quick.
more the closer it gets to. There's still like 100.
Baltimore still 2 games up in the AL East over the Rays, but they're chasing them hard. The Blue Jays are 8.5 games back there. In the AL Central, Twins leading the division. You got the Guardians 4.5 games back. All right, like we talked about in the AL West, this one's coming down to the wire. Texas Rangers still leading the division at 72-54. Astros 1 game back. Mariners a game and a half back. Over in the National League, the Braves 82-44, up 13.5 games over the Phillies.
Yeah.
Man, you love to see it.
You love
it. In El Central, Brewers leading 3.5 games over the Cubs and the Reds. They're both tied. And then in the West, the Dodgers now 11.5 games up on the Giants.
Guys, we are so close to college football kicking off. Then we get into Major League Baseball playoffs. NFL's kicking off. And I'm kicking off. Let's go. Clean yourself up.
Love it.
Here's what I got today. It's football, so I'm betting on it. Give me the Steelers, Falcons over 38. I think we're going to see some starters tonight. Honestly, right now, until we get to college football, it's probably smart to fade me. But shout out to the Braves yesterday, hitting that -1.5. Just as speeding of a lifetime, 7-0 over the Mets. Oh no, we're the Mets. Yeah, so Steelers, Falcons over 38, -108. Then Eagles at home, +4.5. Anthony Richardson's not going to play for the Colts. I know they got Ellinger, right? I know they got some pretty decent backups. But
you got Gardner Minshew, right?
Got Gardner Minshew, speaking of trash stashes. But yeah, give me the Eagles +4.5 at home. Let's lose by a field goal, right?
I love it. All right. Yanks, White Sox, both win. 2-game parlay there, plus 164. Hey,
Strategy.
Yankees, Aaron Judge had his first 3-homer game yesterday.
It's the only way we win.
Snapped the 9-game win streak. I say they keep it going here. They win again. And then Rockies, Rays, Nerfy. No runs in the first inning, minus 115.
All right, give me the D-backs at home money line. It's going off at a dirty minus 166. Then the Rangers, plus 1.5, minus 180. We're on the road. Just figure it out, Rangers, all right? Just figure it out.
Ace, speaking of the Rangers, he's going to go Texas money line at plus 100, and then the Orioles money line minus 110, keeping it awfully steady.
And then
Booster Club.
All right, let's go to Brian Hall. What's up, Brian?
Whatever you want.
Says the Vols letting down David so much. You looking for a new state? O-H.
Look, I got enough going on right now.
Oh.
It's an emotional time, Brian.
Let's go to Cal Kennedy. What's up, Cal?
Yeah.
Says singing Rocky Top when married to a Bama woman. It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah, the locks have already been
She
changed.
doesn't let me sing it in the house. So I have to sing it
you just go outside.
I just like that song. I can't help that Tennessee took that song and co-opted it for their school.
That's smart.
Go to Trey Wright. He says Carson Beck is just as much as a hinge player as Joe Milton. Heck, Bama doesn't have a QB. GBO.
Carson Beck, I'd throw him in that hinge player. It's exactly right. And everybody thinks I'm making like a Georgia driving joke. And I'm like, he's going to hop in a Ferrari. He just has to drive the speed limit. Has nothing to do with what's going on at Georgia, especially the tragedy. But he is hopping in a Ferrari, and all he has to do is not wreck it. That's what Georgia is. You have an unbelievable offensive line. The skill position now, I will say, you see Branson Robinson, the running back, out for the year, was announced yesterday. And then another one of their running backs got I think, MCL as well. So Georgia running back room, man. Just tough to see.
Yeah, look, I just want to see if they can find a helmet that's going to fit Beck's head. God, man.
He does have long face.
He's got a long face.
Like, he does look like, what's that movie, like The Night Before Christmas?
That's not right.
Like with the skeletons? Like where he's like jumping on the rooftops?
All right, let's go to Texas Ed. What's up, buddy? Hashtag Ask Crain and Co. How do you think Hudson Card will do playing against Big Ten defenses this year?
I think
Pretty
he'll
well.
do fine. I think Hudson, I think Hudson runs a little better than what people think, but he's one of those quarterbacks that can operate in a pro style too. I think Hudson's going to be fine. Got a ton of experience. I'm happy.
Did he come
for
in
him.
for Quinn Ewers?
Yeah.
When Ewers went down?
Yeah,
He balled.
Bama. He balled.
Played well.
Yeah. I mean, Hudson, he's been around the block. He'll be fine.
I was going to ride highs. Hashtag Asking the Buzz. What team left in the Pac-4 has the best chance to better themselves through all this transitioning?
Oregon State.
The Pac-12's transitioning right now.
Yeah. Oregon State.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon State,
All of a
either with
sudden, you got an
DJ Pooh.
Adam's apple and you're, looking different.
All right, poll.
Oh.
Who will win the Big Ten?
Oh, this is going to be a murder.
This was our very first 100% Booster Club poll. I'm calling it now.
Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, or Rutgers?
Michigan. I'm just kidding.
Other.
100%. First one ever.
I'm going to say Michigan 88%.
Other, 7%.
Wow, it's not 100 then.
Penn State, 11%. Ohio State, 64%. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Ohio State, 18%. Michigan, 63%.
We don't like it. We
About
flip
right.
the numbers.
Flip the
Chip on the
numbers.
shoulder. Circle the
7 and
wagon.
5.
Yeah, Harbaugh's printing it out and putting it in the locker room right now. No, Booster Club, great job. Make sure you subscribe. Check out Black Raffle Coffee. Like I said, we're 2,000 away from 100,000 on YouTube. Go to the Daily Wire Plus. Sign up. Follow us on X or Twitter or
Twitter, bruh.
Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, okay? We appreciate you guys and like the chances of football being played by robots in the next 30 years. We're going, gone.